Welcome back, folks. We are joined by the ladies of the Rio Grande Valley Quilt Guild. Joining us today is Alice Gibson, the Quilt Show chair, and Deb Blackburn, the Quilt Show, and you deal with the publicity. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
So tell me about the Quilt Guild itself. I know it's so interesting, and I know I was just telling you I had to pronounce that correctly so I didn't stumble over myself.
We have 344 members in the valley. This includes local residents as well as winter Texans. Both Deb and I are winter Texans, so we're only here in the winter time. Through the guild, we have many functions. The last one that we have taken on is teaching the youth to quilt, and we have they work with the students in the FFAs as well as the school. And we have Floria, who has been taking that on as her project. We have 35 quilts that have been done this year in the show by the students. The youngest is a 9-year-old gentleman.
Oh my goodness.
A very prolific quilter.
Wow.
And one of the students, who is 14, is teaching other students how to quilt.
Already teaching at 14.
At 14. It's an amazing program, and we are just so excited about that.
Definitely.
We also do community service quilts, and with those we do about 39 or 40 different facilities. We do NICUs, we do hospice, the orphanages, and other places that are in need of quilts. They will just notify us that they want quilts made, and we make them for them. We did about 20-some thousand units of work this summer, and under the IRS guidelines, that ends up to be about $250,000 worth of volunteer contribution to the valley.
Wow, that's amazing. Now I believe you all did something with veterans as well.
We do. We have the veterans quilt, or the military service quilts, and they did a big donation of them in July, on July 4th, to the VA hospital in McAllen, and there was 200 and some quilts were handed out at that day. We have now got another 200 ready to be handed out.
Already.
57 of them will be on display at the Quilt Show, and as soon as they come down from the show, they will be distributed to veterans within the valley.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell me a little bit about what goes into quilting to actually
make a quilt.
To make a quilt, yes.
Desire.
Yeah. Desire, passion, joy.
Wow, I know you were saying that as young as a 9-year-old, a 9-year-old boy is already doing it. Now, is it a difficult task? I know I've never quilted myself. I've never made a quilt, and I'm not really familiar with it, but it sounds interesting, you know.
Well, you can either do them by hand or by machine, and most of us use a combination of it. You can do either bed quilts, art quilts, small wall hangings, large wall hangings, wearables.
I know
this.
You were just saying that it's beautiful, and who would have
never
thought?
guessed that,
right?
eh?
Exactly.
I remember my grandmother, when I was little, would take paper and cut out squares or triangles, and then she'd pin it to the fabric. And now we have so many different tools. We have a rotary cutter that looks like a pizza cutter. And mats, and it just goes so much faster these days than it did back in our grandma's time.
That's amazing. So you can make more, be more creative. It just makes it all that much easier. So what made you both want to kind of participate and be a part of this?
Well, I was a past Quilt Show chair.
Okay.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Everybody said it would be really hard, and I just loved it because I love meeting the people, and you get to not only meet quilters, but you get to meet people that appreciate quilting. And I've done it now this is my 4th year being involved with the
Oh,
Quilt
wow.
Show, and I'm going to exit out and let somebody else do it next year. And Alice has been with the Quilt Guild longer than I have, I know.
I started in '98 when we were coming to the valley. My husband when I retired, was afraid I was going to break him by making garments. So he bought me some basic quilt tools. He didn't know what he was unleashing.
That's amazing. So how many, if you could estimate, how many quilts do you think you've made?
In that time, probably about 80.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's not anything compared to the productivity of a lot of the ladies that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. And have you noticed, have you, generated a lot of interest with kids when they come in? Are they just fascinated by it? Do they love it?
They absolutely adore it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've worked with them on a couple projects with Floria, and Alice asked me a few minutes ago, what are you going to get involved in next year? And I said nothing, but the more I think about it, I would like to expand the youth program with Floria a little bit, because we were registering quilts on a Saturday, and my husband drove. He was waiting out in the truck, and there was a family that had been in, and they were registering the youth quilts. And my husband he looked at me and he says, those kids had the biggest smiles on their face, and they looked so happy. And just when somebody completes something, that means a world to the kids.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And are you going to have some of the kids' quilts on display?
There will be 35 youth quilts.
Wow.
Last year we had them on display only out in the lobby. This year they are part of the show where everybody's quilts are. They are a category unto themselves, and they will be judged as all of the other quilts are judged by the viewing audience, and it will be a viewer's choice that they will get a first, second, third, and participant.
Oh, how amazing.
Yeah.
And so how can people, when is the actual show? I know it's coming up at the end of this month.
Yeah. The 26th and 27th, it starts at 9 o'clock on the Friday morning till 5, followed by an evening program, which is also related to quilting. And that's being done by Ricky Timms, who's originally a Texan quilter, and he is world famous.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And so that will be good. There's still tickets available.
I
Perfect.
saw the concert in Shipshawana, Indiana over the summer,
Yes.
and I'm going again.
So is that good?
It is.
Definitely. And where can they go to purchase tickets?
They can get them online at the website. It's rgvqg.com. Under programs, they can register for both Victoria Finley Wolf's class. We have seats available for that, and Ricky Timms, both his lecture and his program in the evening. Still have tickets available. You just go online and you can order them, and you can pick them up at the door.
Perfect. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fascinating show. I mean, it's going to be amazing to see all the work that everyone's done, and to let it be on display.
There's 300 quilts going to be on display, and we have 30 vendors coming.
Perfect.
So that the quilters can have a good variety to choose from when they're wanting to purchase things.
Perfect. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great weekend. Thank you, ladies, so much for coming
Thank
on
you.
the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks. Well, when we come back, we've got the details on the largest event in Cameron County. Stay with us.